What's good, y'all? I'm the G with a PhD. You tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. You know what it is. It's the place where black men are able to express themselves freely, straight up with no chases. And I stripped everything down tonight, keeping it simple. Before I get things started, I want to give a shout out to all the members of the Green Gorilla channel, as I always do. Shout out to Antonio Feria, Omni Americana, Cameron87, Deshaun Nolly, Brian Peaks, Mr. Lou Meth, Michael Ross, Nelso, Apex Prowler, Kareen Henry, Doc LaRock, Julius Ferguson, B. Hillfire, J. Charles, Mark Holt, Lee Ways, Jeffrey Speed, The Nameless Protagonist, The Face, Rais Muajid, Mark Swift, Show Me, Black Dog, Odd Collard, Raphael Brown, Deanne, Donald Watts, Barry Little, Ryan Jackson, hiphop.catv, Coach DC, The Remedy, Kashif Caldwell, Infamous Chillin', I Am Black Man, Nichita, True King 337, Mr. Blue Collar, Barnolas, Kyle J. Sura, I'm Just Jules, The Book of Ronin, Ab Media 83, Gemini Getting Knowledge, Brian McMurray, TD Hip Hop Media, Drew Main, Shop Talk Live, Mr. Heat, Afro Analyst, Isa Abdul Zahir, Sir Anthony, MLR, Charles Rogers, Universal 178, Black Sword 404, Rashid Barnes, Aaron Smith, DH, C Truth the Revelator, Gold Professor, Black Pill Ned Stark, Arthur Unknown, Dr. Tiasan Johnson, Brian Williams, Kalon Jakala, Ricky Dawson, Cedric Bowman, True 7360, BK Born Shahid, James Washington, Hostile ADEV, Seven Coast Dojo, W Para 1, Rogus the Billmonger, Ike here, BGS Ibmore, Marvin Battle Jr., Anu 219, Pursuer Prisoner, Taz, Kwaku 217, S. Haywood, Dragon 59, Supreme Ibmore, Adrian Hicks, Jay Bailey, Mr. Michi, Mo Mal, William Ruffin, and the Soingma. Shout out to y'all, man. I appreciate y'all and thank you for helping me to keep the channel going. Thank you for the support. But today, I just want to have a simple conversation. And shout out to all of y'all that's out there. It ain't very many people out there today. But thank y'all, Mr. Blue Collar, Sir Anthony, Gemini Getting Knowledge, Jigga Tyrone, and others who may be meandering into the chat or into the stream. Peace and blessings. So, I did a show a while ago about Psalm 133. And I don't know if you remember what that psalm is, but I'll state it again. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments. As the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion, for there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. So ultimately, what does this mean? Well, I can tell you what it means to me. It means that when brothers are not at each other's throats, when brothers are in harmony, when brothers are cooperating, when brothers are not expressing enmity, so mote it be, Squeaky G. When brothers are not slandering one another, when brothers are not disrespecting one another, when brothers are not cursing each other out, when brothers are not exclaiming how they're going to kill you, how they're going to beat your ass, how they're not calling each other negative epithets, that's pleasing to God. It's pleasing to God. It's a divine blessing that's being transmuted to that kind of energy. That means it has the support of what theologically would be considered to be the summum bonum, the greatest good, the highest good. It is pleasing to God to see men in harmony, not attacking and slandering and besmirching each other. Who would not be pleased with this? To see unity occur, to see brotherhood being expressed. Who would be displeased at that? Who could that be? Who's upset with that? Who would be mad at that? It's not a natural state for men to hate each other, to have anger and enmity towards each other, contempt and resentment for each other. That's not necessarily natural. But for the life of me, I can't figure out, man, why in the manosphere there's all this hate and enmity and envy and disrespect. I just don't get it. Somebody explain to me where all of this is coming from. Where is it coming from? I've seen it again and again and again. I thought it would get better. I thought, okay, well, maybe there's just a few arguments taking place here or there, but it's gotten worse. And my viewpoint is I don't perceive that there's humility. I don't see a lot of humility. I see a lot of arrogance, a lot of self righteousness, the unwillingness to apologize, the unwillingness to agree to disagree about points or arguments or frameworks or politics or whatever the issue may be. The unwillingness to agree to disagree, even despite the fact that most of the people here are mostly 90% in agreement. But instead of focusing on what you agree about, you find enmity, envy, hatred, even for what is a small sliver of disagreement. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I got it twisted. I've even heard my name mentioned. And I'm wondering to myself, like, what did I say to any of you overtly, conspicuously to trigger resentment against me? I'm wondering, like, what did I do? I came into space for one reason, to work for justice in behalf of black men and boys. That's it. That's all. That's what I came here to do. Now, if that's an insincere or a motive that you find unreasonable, I encourage you, I'm begging you, please come to the show, show your face, come and explain to me how it is the case. I'll leave a link. I'll leave a link. I'm leaving it now. Also, if you got a problem with any man, I was taught, if you got a problem with a man, go to the man, speak to the man, talk to that man directly. Don't talk to him indirectly. Don't talk about your issues with other people. Talk to that man if you got a problem. Also, I heard if another man's got a problem with you, go holler at that man, whoever it may be. Don't spread gossip. Don't create factions and division. You talk to the man. Because you never know, you might be able to resolve the issue that you have with one another, and then it could lead back to what God would deem to be righteous, what he would deem to be pure, what he would deem to be the summum bonum, the greatest good, unity amongst men. Now, we all know that men demand respect, and that if there is too much disrespect among men, you know what it leads to. It leads to conflict of a physical kind, perhaps maybe even death. So I'm saying to y'all, man, do y'all want Psalm 133 or do you want Psalm 35? Because I know what my motives are. I know what my motives are in this space. It's not to create confusion and to drum up drama so that I can get my subscriber list up or the amount of people watching. It's not to throw shade or to be in a subliminal sneak dissing match with people who exist here. What good is that? I thought the space was about uplifting and promoting initiatives to improve the quality of the content of Black men's lives. That's what I thought it was. Or maybe I'm mistaken. I'm mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong. You tell me what it is. Let me know. Because it's reached a point where I'm seeing disrespect everywhere. Is it that time of the year? The time of the month? I'm asking the question. I just don't get it, man. I don't understand it. So I decided to strip it down. And if any man in this space got some beef with me, please bring it to me. Whoever it may be, come directly to me. I'm here to entertain it on any level. However you want to get down with it, let me know. I'm right here. I've never gone away from or shied away from danger, from argument, from conflict, because it needs to be resolved. At some point, it has to be resolved. I'm just ready to go and get it to where it reaches its logical conclusion. I don't like to beat feet and pussyfoot. I want to get right to it, whatever the result is going to be. Let's get to the consequence. Let's get to it. Why wait? Why skirt around it, dance around it? Why not just get right to it? Whoever you are, if you got a problem with the G with a PhD, step up, man. The mic is open. No, I feel you, Sir Anthony. And it's not that, I'm not trying to ignore it precisely because it's my goal has nothing to do with YouTube success. I don't care about YouTube success. It's never been my underlying motive. My underlying motive is to try to find a means by which to garner justice in behalf of Black men and to mitigate the problems that they face. That's what I'm here for. It's not to improve your relationship life. It's not to give you some insight on how to navigate your relationships. I'm not a pickup artist. I'm not a therapist. So I can't make your life straight, but I can advocate for justice on your behalf. I can do that. I happen to know something about that. So what information I have, I impart to you consistently in order to get you to see that which is unjust in relation to how you're treated in the world at this moment where you reside, where you are. That's why I'm here. That's it. Now, you can call me anything you want to call me, but one thing you can't call me is a liar or a thief. That's what you can't call me, either a liar or a thief. I do what I say I'm going to do, and I have no desire to exploit, manipulate, and to extort the men in the space. If I was going to do that, I would have done it already. I could have done it. I just generated a what 20% of what it was that I was asking for in order to make a documentary, which was in service of the Manosphere, in service of it, not to the detriment of it, but in service of it. I could have kept that money. I could have found a way to keep that money. But I know that if I don't do what I say I'm going to do, then I'm not a man of my word. And I don't move like that. I don't get down like that. So the question is it Psalm 133 or is it Psalm 35? I don't even know if you know what Psalm 35 is. Psalm 35 is simple. It reads, "Contend, Lord, with those who contend with me. Fight against those who fight against me. Take up shield and armor. Arise and come to my aid. Brand this spear and javelin against those who pursue me. Say to me, I am your salvation. May those who seek my life be disgraced and put to shame. May those who plot my ruin be turned back in dismay. May they be like chaff before the wind, with the angel of the Lord driving them away. May their path be dark and slippery, with the angel of the Lord pursuing them. Since they hid their net for me without cause, and without cause dug a pit for me. May ruin overtake them by surprise. May the net they hid entangle them. May they fall into the pit to their ruin. Then my soul will rejoice in the Lord and delight in his salvation. My whole being will exclaim, who is like you, Lord? You rescued the poor from those too strong for them, the poor and needy from those who robbed them. Ruthless witness come forward. They question me on things I know nothing about. They repay me evil for good and leave me like one bereaved. Yet when they were ill, I put on a sackcloth and humbled myself with fasting. When my prayers returned to me unanswered, I went about mourning as though for my friend or brother. I bowed my head in grief as though weeping for my mother. But when I stumbled, they gathered in glee. Assailants gathered against me without my knowledge. They slandered me without ceasing. Like the ungodly, they maliciously mocked. They gnashed their teeth at me. How long, Lord, will you look on? Rescue me from their ravages, my precious life from these lions. I will give you thanks in the great assembly. Among the throngs, I will praise you. Do not let those gloat over me who are my enemies without cause. Do not let those who hate me without reason maliciously wink the eye. They do not speak peaceably, but devise false accusations against those who live quietly in the land. They sneer at me and say, aha, aha, with our own eyes we have seen it. Lord, you've seen this. Do not be silent. Do not be far from me, Lord. Awake and rise to my defense. Contend for me, my God and Lord. Vindicate me in your righteousness. Lord, my God, do not let them gloat over me. Do not let them think, aha, just as we wanted, or say, we have swallowed him up. May all who gloat over my distress be put to shame and confusion. May all who exalt themselves over me be clothed with shame and disgrace. May those who delight in my vindication shout for joy and gladness. May they always say, the Lord be exalted, who delights in the well being of his servant. My tongue will proclaim your righteousness, your praises all day long. So the whole point is, and I read that because it's a psalm from David begging God to crush his enemies, destroy them. The same net that they set out to trap me with, let it trap them. They who make mischief and who use deceit and enmity in order to drum up destruction, let them be split like chaff in the wind. Let them be like chaff in the wind. We got work to do, man. To me, this is not about being the greatest or the breakout YouTube star. It's not about donations and money and how much I can pocket in contradistinction to the other guys in the space. It's not about glorifying maliciousness or pathology in the black community. It's none of that. It's about dealing with justice issues that have an adverse impact on black men's lives. That's what it's about. It's not about being the biggest dog in the dog park. It ain't about being the biggest fish in the pond. It's about reaching black men in an intimate way, not a sexual way, but an intimate way, such that they can begin to remedy the issues that they have. Because there's a lot of issues that we have. And you see them on display right here. So I say to you, if you got a problem with the G, please speak your mind. You're free. You're welcome at any time to chime in and come in and say what it is that you have to say. Speak now. But I'm seeing some troubling things here. Troubling. If anybody wants to join in and comment, they can. But I'm just tired of the chicanery, man. I didn't come here in order to deal with a whole bunch of foolishness and disrespectful vernacular going back and forth, trading, you know, insults. That's ridiculous to me. That's childish behavior, man. I don't have time for that. I want to move. I want to move forward, not move backwards. So Cedric Cole says, in my opinion, once females were allowed in the group chats, they began to validate some men over others. As soon as that occurred, those who started out changed their message to spite each other. You know, I don't know because look, I don't really watch a lot of guys' channels like that. Every now and then I cruise through some people's channels. I come in, I see that there's a panel there, and I say what I have to say, and then I dip out. But thank you, Andrew Green. Let me thank all the people, man, who've donated to me thus far, man. Andrew, thank you. Squeaky G, thank you. Rashid Barnes, again, thank you. And there's a brother who hit me on the Cash App, Vernon King. Thank you, bro. I just wish men would have enough integrity and enough humility to speak to each other without all of the browbeating, without all of the egoism and the egotism. Just come to each other like men, not looking to destroy each other, but looking to reason with one another. That's what I desire. I know what I'm here for. And Kareem Bell says, this is a business for some. Controversy gets clicks. And that may be true. But I'm not running love and hip hop here. I'm not doing Jerry Springer, Maury Povich, none of that. This ain't smack battle. WWF. I don't get down like that. I don't move like that. Donald Watts, welcome to the stream. How are you, sir?
Fine. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good.
Talk to me. Speak to me, brother.
All right. So I spoke with you and Dr. T. Hassan Johnson on one of the other chats. We were talking about um briefly some comments about what was going on in the military, but I got a comment and then a question.
Okay.
All right. So the comment. I'm I'm not the one of the oldest guys in this sphere, and I'm kind of new, but I kind of see the value of having like people like you in this space. What I see you doing, I'm not saying this is what you're doing, but you're driving the thought that's going to get us those laws and legislation that we need, because it's kind of pushing us in that direction of things that we should either be looking at or focusing on. And
Thank you,
one,
sir. I mean, I'm one of many persons. I'm not the only person here that's doing this. Okay. So, but I do want people to think about policy and about imagery and about public relations at some point. Like, because that's the thing that's going to actually help men to change the environment, which they're subjected to. Because we can think like, okay, well, it's an individual choice. You could just choose to remove yourself from these circumstances. Some people can, but most people are followers. Not everybody is, a rebel or, an autonomous thinker. Most people follow the herd, and that's what they do. But anyway, man, brother, please continue.
uh, yeah, thank you. So one of the things that I noticed is that so let me just go back to before I go back to that. One of the things that I'm starting to notice is that a lot of people, a lot of men, since I've been an adult, I noticed that a lot of men follow women, and that's the problem. Um, the problem isn't so much, yes, we have issues with women, and ultimately it's these laws that we need to look at getting changed, and how it could be more fair for us. But what I've noticed is a lot of dudes that their mindset is pretty much like, if I got just enough money and I can get the pussy that I want, then that's cool. They're not looking at the things that affect us at a larger level. Now, what I'm starting to see with my friends, because I'm 30, the
Okay.
ones, the females that have sons, they're starting to see all the things that negatively affect these boys, and they're starting to see it too late, and they're jumping off of that, the feminist train. That's one thing I'm seeing. And another thing that I'm seeing is that when you look at like the ground level, the people that this affects, you know, for the most part, the most of the people that this affects, when we talk about the women, they're not even they don't have the same mindset as a lot of these females in academia who are pushing these agendas. Like what I was talking about um, with the women going into combat arms or the infantry. It's not that many that want to do that. And they're not even the ones that's pushing so hard for radical changes. There are changes that needed to be made, but not they're not the ones that's pushing for radical changes. It's other people that have nothing to do with it that probably hold government offices or politicians that are pushing for this. But I do have a question.
Okay, my brother.
So my question to you is this: do we collectively have an understanding of what it is to be a man and some sort of ethos? Because I noticed what you were saying about the browbeating and the not man, the browbeating and the name calling. And I heard Dr. Dunbar say that something about that, and I agree with it. Like, we shouldn't do that. That's counterproductive.
Yeah. Just ask the question again one more time so I can make sure that I got it the way that can answer it the way you want it.
Okay, I apologize. So, do we have a collective understanding of what it means to be a man and manhood in general? Because even if you ask me that right now, I'm going to give you a plethora of answers.
Precisely. So yeah, we don't. I, you know, my viewpoint on it is that manhood is intangible. It has nothing to do with how big your penis is. It has nothing to do actually with how big your wallet is. It it's intangible. It's first of all, you have to be humble, man. That's part of what I consider to be manhood, humility, not lording over and being aggressive and bullying people. That's not manhood to me. This whole idea that I can shape and change the world to my needs, not my needs, but to my wants. That's not manhood to me. Being forceful and aggressive. Now you can be assertive, and oftentimes I'm assertive and aggressive. But damn, if I'm having a conversation with someone, typically I'm not gonna, whether I agree or disagree, I'm not gonna curse them out. I'm just not, man. I'm not, whatever differences I have with men or regarding anything. It could be politics, ethics, a whole host of issues. You got to remain cool, man. And you have to be humble enough to know that you don't have all the answers. Part of being a man means being humble and understanding your limitations. That's part of it. I can't tell you what all of it is. It's about responsibility. It's about leadership when leadership is necessary, but also it's about allowing others to lead when they are more capable or more, expert in a specific kind of area. It means that you don't have to handle it all by yourself all the time. That's John Henryism. You don't have to do it all by yourself. And one of the things that, men have to understand, we're social animals as well. Men aren't able to perform or function virtuously without being connected to other men. It just doesn't happen. There are no virtues without social interaction and cooperation with other people. Virtues can't come about. And I said this, like on another show at another place, but human beings are social animals. The person who's unnaturally, you know, unsocial is either a god or a beast. Period.
Damn.
That's Aristotle. You're either, if you don't need to be in partnership or brotherhood with other persons, then you're either a god or a beast. You can't, like, camaraderie, friendship, that's essential to who you are. You can't live without it. You wouldn't have an identity without it. You wouldn't be able to function without associating with other men. This is one of the reasons why this space, has begun to grow, I think. But will it grow malignantly or benignly? That's my view. Like, that's what I'm pondering. It's just my view. Anybody can come here and speak on these issues, especially for those persons who have disagreement with me. Come to me. That's one of the things. See, it takes humility. Also, a man knows when he's wrong and accepts when he's wrong and takes responsibility for when he is wrong. That's what a man does, because a man knows that he has faults, that nobody is perfect, that we all have something to learn. That's also very important for men to understand. It's not might makes right. It's not force. Now, there are times when force is necessary, especially when there are threats, but manhood is not just about being an attention whore. It's just not, man. And if you're a leader, you know that you can't do everything. That's what you got other people for. If you're a leader and you're a micromanagerial kind of leader, why do you have a team? You may as well do the job yourself.
This is true.
It just, you can't do it all. None of us can do it all. And, I look at this like the association amongst men like a chessboard. And it's not that any piece is less valuable than any of the others. They each work in concert in order to achieve or attain an objective. Not everybody has exactly the same rank, but that doesn't mean they don't have the same, or they don't have value or worth. But it's sad for me to see what I'm seeing. But I mean, it happens everywhere, though. It's not as if this is something just unique to this space. It happens in fraternities. It happens in families. It happens everywhere. So, it's just out in the open. Even if it were behind closed doors, it might be, palatable. But damn, like, for people who really don't push the issue like that, for people who really don't come ignorant to receive ignorance, and then for that to be perceived as manliness, is preposterous to me. Because to
Well,
me, that's not what manliness is about. It's not about forcing people to accept what your thoughts are. It's not your politics or your religion. It's not about that. But people
yeah,
want to make it that. They want to make it out to be that, because they want to demonstrate that they somehow are exemplary as it pertains to this concept. This is why I say, look, one thing men need to learn how to do is to apologize. But men don't want to do that. A lot of men don't want to do that. They're too stubborn, too honorary, too egoistic and egotistic. The infantile ego is too large. But that's a function of Western, society and culture, though. Everybody thinks they're the shit. They're the biggest thing going. We need to tone it down a little bit. Take it down a notch. I tell people all the time, stop deferring to me. You can challenge me at any time, but when you do it, just do it respectfully. That's all. We all get emotional. I've never, and men are emotional. That you can see. To say that men are not emotional is a lie. Because anger is an emotion, envy is an emotion, loathing is an emotion, wrath is an emotion. So I hope that answers your question to some degree.
Shoot, that answered my question and then some. Um,
My- but yeah, man, all I want to do is just let people know why we are here where we are, why there is such disdain for men and black men in general. And we've incorporated some of this disdain towards our own selves. And you know what I think? If I had to postulate and take a stab and a guess, that most men have no respect for one another because they don't even have respect for their own fathers. How can you
yeah,
respect how can you respect other men if you've been taught all your life that your daddy ain't shit, that he's not really important, or that the people who are older than you are, they have little value, especially, the older men. Just look at how other people in other cultures look at older men. They lionize them. They hold them in high regard, for better or worse, through tragedy or triumph. They're held in high regard. But when the men are not held in regard, how can the men look at each other as having substance, as having value and worth? So yeah, I mean, you
yeah,
said a lot too, though. I mean, because a lot of this, I've always said this, right? Men make money for women. Men show off and peacock for women. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it if that's part of what men are doing. But if it's all they're doing, then it becomes problematic. But that's just one stage of behavior for men as they interact with women. Because once you actually get one, then the game also becomes, well, how do you keep one? And how do you live in harmony with one? If you so decide to, conjoin forces and the pair bond with a woman. It's not an easy thing to do. It's just not, especially nowadays, because women are looking for utilities. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are. But nobody wants to be used. Nobody wants to be disposed. Nobody wants to be treated as if, they don't have any inherent dignity, but they have worth only insofar as they're able to fulfill your wishes and your desires. That's not even friendship. That's not a relationship at all. That's a exploitative situation. And who would want that? So I hope that answers some of your questions. And again, I don't know everything. That's just my assessment, off the cuff. So, but as it pertains to disrespect that men have for one another, I think it's because they don't even respect their fathers. And if your daddy ain't shit, no other man can be anything.
yeah,
Period.
yeah. I
What
know,
what
like,
what other man can be anything if they don't have some other man that they look up to and say that's a good person. That's a person of upstanding moral value and content.
yeah,
So, James Washington says, apologizing these days will get you canceled. Well, I'm not talking about apologizing for holding unpopular views as much as I'm saying, because men are going to offend each other from time to time. There's no way to get around that. I mean, do you have any family members? Like brothers?
yeah. I got three brothers, four
Have you ever
sisters.
fought any of them?
Um, but they tried to fight me. It didn't go well. But I mean, we developed an understanding to where, I mean, that form of power is like that's the lowest level. We grew to a point where we develop an understanding to where we don't even when we do fight, it just seems like a conversation. We have genuine love for each other. So our changes are, just with words and they don't even get heated. and we listen to each other. People have to grow to that point, you know.
That this is true, but you can't tell somebody anything who thinks that they already have the answers beforehand. There's nothing you can teach them. And
This
those
is
those are dangerous people to me. And I'm yes, there's some things that I know and that I stand on, but I'm amenable to conversation and to revising my viewpoints given, that the the person is persuasive. I, we've all been wrong. There's nobody here who's been right 100% of the time. Nobody.
can I speak to something real quick to apologizing?
Yeah,
Because
go ahead.
sure, I got a personal testimony to that, and this is this is perfect. So two of my little brothers. Um, one time, like they were really young, like I really fucked them up really bad. Like I beat the shit out of them. Like not to like breaking bones or bleeding or anything, but I overdid it. I overdid it.
You the
I
older
beat.
brother. You're the
I
older brother.
Yeah, I'm the eldest,
Yeah.
so I didn't use my authority properly. So from then on out, um, I just I changed the way or what I would call like my leadership style, and I would do like more talking to people, like my father started to do. So to try to get my message across, and I would try to make sure that everything that I did or said was in their best interest when I said it. Now, fast forward later on in age, I think it was about when I was 26, 27. I'm talking to one of my brothers, and we're having a heated conversation, not directed towards each other, but we're having a heated conversation, talking about some issues, that we had with, our father, and so on and so forth. Which he's a great father. He did some wrong, but he's a great man. Um, but we're having these conversations, and in that conversation came out when I was critiquing my little brother. In that conversation came out what I did, and how I overdid it. And when I came home from school, like nobody was believing me, and you just believed them, and you did this, this, that, and the other. Immediately, I owned up to what I did, and I apologized, and it never came up again. That's how powerful that stuff is. And
Yeah.
we're
It's called reconciliation. You know, yeah, and that's one of the things that I think black men are dealing with. This is tormenting them at the current moment because they seem to not be able to reconcile with anyone, not even themselves. And there's a price to pay when you can't reconcile with anyone, when everyone's your enemy. That's a hard life to live, man. That's a hard life to live when you can't reconcile with anyone. You can't reconcile with women. You can't reconcile with other men. You can't reconcile with the society at large. That has a psychological impact. And that's a wound that can't just be healed because you will it. You can engage in stoicism and try to get yourself there. But, when the whole world is projecting images back towards you that are negative, how can you not know? How can you not know, as the brother right here says, pain? How can you not know pain? And oddly enough, we have this idea that, manhood is about success related to the American paradigm of what success is all about. I'm an older guy, man. So I remember a television show used to come on TV before Cribs. Used to be Robin Leach and the lifestyles of the rich and famous. I don't know if you ever heard of that or saw it, but they used to come and show the lifestyles of rich people, yachts, homes, their jewelry, all this kind of stuff. That's what success is in America. That's what they'll make you believe success is at the bottom line, money. But then the question becomes, well, why are so many people who are so rich so miserable?
hmm,
Why are their lives in a wreck? So, you can have a lot, but it still doesn't mean that your soul is at ease. I mean, at ease. It just doesn't mean that, you know. So the only thing I know is this, though, man. Black men are dealing with a lot of issues, and sometimes they bubble up, and we take them out on each other, and that's unfortunate. So, you know, anything else you want to add? Any of y'all can feel free. Like if you got a problem with the G, you want to make a comment, you want to ask a question, you can. Because usually I don't do hangouts or I don't have panels. I have not been doing that at all. And I guess I need to talk to y'all because I can show you how a conversation is supposed to go. Now, every now and then it might get heated, but at the end of the day, it's about respect. That's another feature of manhood, respect. You got to receive, you got to give it to receive it, you know? But a lot of
Yeah.
people feel like they should have it without displaying it. And they'll get angry at you if you match their anger. They'll get upset with you if you match how upset they are. If you mirror their behavior, it just, it amplifies their own. But, like I don't like disrespect either. I'm prone to get angry. Everybody is, given the context. I mean, given the right situation, you know. Uh, but I don't like a lot of bullshit in my world, man. I've dealt with enough bullshit. And I don't take threats from men idly because I know where they can go. I don't. So that's why I don't understand all of the, you know, you got to be careful when you talk to men because you don't know what other men will do. That's all I'm saying. You got to be careful how you speak to other guys because you don't know if that guy will fuck your ass up. You just don't know.
In my in my experience, like um, you know, just being out here in the world amongst all types of people, it's the ones that you wouldn't even think that would do anything that would murder you or throw somebody out of a window. So, but
Exactly, man. Like I'm telling you, like, I come from a place, man, where the guys who do, like who will hurt you, they're scared of you.
hmm
That's why they hurt you.
oh my God, yes. And honestly, that's the reason why I honestly think that's the reason why there's the killing that we have aside from survival because we have a special case, but that's a lot of reason why we have a lot of the killings that we have like in the black community. A lot of killing is done out of fear, out of
Well,
fear.
I mean, it's a lot to fear. There's a lot to fear. Like, I mean, there's a lot of guns. There's a lot of poverty. There's a lot of a missing value system. There's a lack of family organization that can keep people, bound to a certain code of ethics. We live in a secularized society where you can't tell anybody else anything without them feeling as if you're impinging upon their personal liberty. This wasn't always the case, but I mean, it is, at the present moment, you can't, everything is subjective. It's what I feel. You can't tell me what to do, you know? But at the same time, these forces and these pressures are everywhere to constrain your behavior to, act a certain way. It's still there anyway. It's just concealed. So, and look, Kareem Bell says the perceived safety of the internet. And that's all it is. It's a perception.
Hey, hey,
It's 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 a perception. You got a lot of keyboard warriors and a lot of guys, you know, I just don't want to see anything bad happen, man, especially in a space that's supposed to be dedicated towards ameliorating black men's lives. Now, I just don't get it. I feel Psalm 133 should be the thing, not Psalm 35 for this space. That's just my viewpoint. But, hey, what do I know? I'm just a
hey,
poor widow's son. That's all.
I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement, and like. I mean, I don't agree with everything everybody says, but I agree with some things. This is one of the things I'm in agreement with. So, a couple more things. Like, as I've gotten older, I've, recently seen the value in, having a network of either like-minded people to a certain extent, or, generally people who have the group's best interest at heart and are willing to make these moves. And I have to speak to this. So I was actually listening to the panel when your name was briefly mentioned. Or so when they talk about, they say this stuff like old niggas. I'm much younger than the dude that was calling y'all old niggas. And I have to say, one thing that we probably need to learn is learn to listen to the people who have come before us, or the people who have gotten further along than us, and or who know things that we don't know. With people people my age, with my generation, I see that that's a mistake that a lot of us are making, and we're having to relearn the things that you guys are already telling us. So, and it's very stupid.
Well,
Like,
I'm gonna have a conversation with that brother. I will have a conversation with that brother, man. But my view is, like I don't name drop in disrespect to other men, especially if I'm not prepared to, to make good on any threats or anything like that. But why would I do that anyway? That's not something I would do. I don't talk like you got to think. Just imagine, like resentment is a choice. It's something you do. It's to the okay. So what resentment means? I don't know if you sentiment is a feeling. It's rooted in the French language. Okay,
hmm
so a sentiment is a feeling. Resentment is to feel it again and again and again and again and again. So just imagine that you hear something that you don't like,
hmm
and instead of allowing it to dissipate because okay, I don't like that, it's not a pleasant experience for me, it's not what I'm in agreement with, and leaving it there, you decide to revisit it. But you decide to do it such that you conjure up within yourself a whole bundle of negative emotions. That's a choice.
yeah,
That is something you choose to do, whoever you are. I mean, and not to say I haven't done it. I have done it. I'm sure everyone on, the stream now who's in the chat or who's listening, they've done it. But you got to understand, like, especially as you get older, holding on to resentment related to other people, that's too much energy expended, man. When you could be doing something positive, it's too much. And it's not going to change your life. It's just going to make you a grumpy ass, old ass man and hasten your death. And not by violence, but hasten your death by stress.
yeah,
Because the world is stressful enough as it is, as opposed to you, conjuring up your own stress, getting your own blood pressure high. What's the point in that? To me, it doesn't make any sense. That's why I say Psalm 133, man. You can't be in agreement with everyone all the time. Not everyone is going to be, on the same page. And I said this before, I'll say it again. You're not even in accord with your own self over time. What you once did, you might deem to be unacceptable later on. It's called being able to revise your viewpoint on life. Is able to do that. So to expect for everyone to agree with what you say is right because it's in your head that it's right. I mean, hey, it is what it is. I mean, some people are more right than others, I think, but you got to let people make that up for themselves. especially in a culture like this. There's no Hammurabi here. There's no Muhammad, no Moses. People have to choose what they want to do. You can't force them, through insults. You get the exact opposite reaction, you know. So it is what it is. But I'm gonna talk to that gentleman, man, and see, wherein the problem lies. But I'm into conversing, but I'm not into all that internet bullshit. I don't do that, man.
Yeah,
I'm not into that, bro. So if it
this
gets to that point, I'm like, man, fuck it. But I'm not but if a man makes a threat to you or slanders you, that's that there's an outcome related to that. That there are consequences for that.
yeah.
Everybody knows this. This is why men used to duel to the death. They used to, okay, you said something slanderous about me, I challenge you to a duel. And they would go out there and kill each other. Or the one would be left standing. This is so-called gentlemanly, noble culture. I mean, nowadays it's identified as street shit amongst ourselves, but it is what it is.
So we
I
might
mean,
have to make an app for that, minus the killing.
yeah, no killing, man. Look, unless it's necessary. If you got to defend yourself, that's a whole different, matter. You know, in the world, people will kill you. So if somebody's trying to harm you, shit, it's got to be him, not me. I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to leave, man. Not now. I'm not trying to get out of here. Like, if somebody attacks you, come on, man. Stop that, bro. Especially if somebody's shooting a pistol at you or, coming at you sideways. No, no. So, but brother, thank you, man, for coming in and talking to me, man. You're welcome anytime. I really don't do panel stuff all the time. And a lot of people, I don't know, man. People come and talk to me here and there, but I haven't been doing the kind of show lately where people can actually come in and say what it is that they have to say. So I appreciate you stepping up, man. I thought you might have been one of those guys who was like, "Fuck GG."
Oh no, man! I'm a goddamn. I'm a stepper. I I Nah. I'm in agreement, and I just don't know. I want to make some sort of change, but I don't know exactly what to do. I have things that I plan on doing, but this helps me in directing the thought that I need to be in to make the right change. So that's why I'm here. And whenever I come up on any of these panels, I'm here to learn. I'm asking legitimate questions, taking down notes. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to learn.
Right. And I like collective learning. Like, it's about sharing experiences and men, helping one another to know what the pitfalls of life are. And that's one thing black men just don't do very well. And they haven't been able to do very well recently. I mean, we try to, but I don't know, man. It's just, right now it's a mess, man. It's a mess. And you get more, flies with sugar than you do with vinegar, man. So, people sometimes they get emotional, man. It just is what it is. But damn, I mean, we gotta learn how to respect each other. That's it, man. That's all I desire for us to do, to learn how to respect each other. I mean, I say little slick shit too from time to time. So if you're offended by anything I've ever said, I apologize. Let's move forward. I'm not here to rob you. I'm not here to be a breakout YouTube star. I'm here to fight for justice in behalf of black men and to impart what I know or what I think I know about history, philosophy, and a whole host of other subjects, politics, whatever the case may be. I typically don't get into political situations or conversations with people because I I look at politics beyond electoral politics and party politics. To me, that there's things taking place on a deeper, more substantive level than just the surface of what you get here, you know, from the media. So I pretty much I pull back from that. Like if I want to talk about politics, I want to talk about, what political scientists have to say about it, in relation to how the state is organized, its institutions, how they're arranged, and, how they could be made more just, more inclusive. Those are the kind of conversations I want to have. This Republican Democrat thing is to me, they're two sides of the same coin. So, that's just my view.
So
But
right
anyway,
wing.
man, I've been in for 1 hour and 9 minutes, man. But look, for whoever watches this video at any time, if you got beef with the G, with a PhD, come holler at me. Talk to me. Whoever you are. I'm not talking about one individual, whoever it may be. Holler at me. That way the confusion can be put to a minimum. And we can find out where we are. And if it's that much beef, that much contention with whoever, then shit. I mean, let's get it to where it gotta go. Let's take it to where it's gotta be. I mean, shit. I ain't never been a stranger to danger. So, but I'm not trying to make it go there. But I mean, if a motherfucker want to force the issue, shit, what? So anyway, man, Psalm 133 over Psalm 35, man. I don't want to have to pray to God to destroy enemies. I don't want to have, especially with people in a space like this, which is supposed to be dedicated towards helping black men. It's childish to me. That's it. So if there are no more questions, I'm out of this thing, man. It's a Friday. I'll be back Monday. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.